Testing, testing. Yeah, I thought so. Hello everyone, my name's Ethonra, and welcome back to Destiny 2. But this time, Destiny 2, the Witch Queen. So, for those who don't know, the thing I was doing here earlier is my testing audio phase. And it seems like the wimpy PlayStation 1 earbud that came with my PlayStation 3 all those years ago finally gave up the ghost, because I was trying to communicate through it and I wasn't picking myself up. So we'll have to hope this headset isn't next in line for that. So, thing about the Witch Queen, I have a lot, and I mean a lot, I want to say about this. For those who wanted to see me blind, I apologize, but I have a good excuse for it. So first, let me get into this. Here's my hunter, my new hunter, as a matter of fact, because as you can see, there is no stasis. So there's a fun story in there. But, yeah. So here's what I want to show. Those who know what this is why I didn't stream it, because what I did was I did it on the legendary difficulty. But not just the legendary difficulty solo. I soloed it with my new hunter. And I have no one but myself to blame for this, so if you don't believe me, fine. But I promise you, I did solo it all. I can even point out specifically the two parts, it only happened in two spots, where I genuinely felt like giving up, but I girded up my loins and said, nah, if I got this far, I can get farther. And I just kept at it and kept at it, and I finally did it. But yeah, I soloed legendary, so I am proud of that, but I am disappointed there is no emblem for it. I could have went to Triumphs and I could have looked for it, but I didn't want to spoil anything for myself. So yeah, sadly there is no solo legendary campaign emblem. There's only the finishing the legendary. So unless you want to challenge yourself, I highly recommend bringing friends, because in certain spots of the campaign it was especially agonizing. And I honestly believe if I didn't have my Void Hunter, especially with the Void 3.0, I think it's called, rework, I might have been in some genuine trouble. But we'll cross that bridge as we go. The second thing that I like is, and I wish they had done this from the very beginning, like Red War, very beginning, I wish they made it possible to replay the campaign, you know, just because you can, because I enjoy them. But in addition to that, the only reason I believe these two are possible is because of this activity right here, which is another thing I wish was in the very beginning, is where you basically get to do the campaign on a hero difficulty with random people. So that's also cool. I really like that. So yeah, as I said, I'd done this before. I'm not doing it again. That was torturous enough as it was. So funnily enough, I'm gonna kick it back, chill out, and do the easier difficulty. Of course, that doesn't mean I won't die. This is me we're talking about, but I will die significantly less than I did in the last one. Also, there are puzzles, because Savathun, there's going to be puzzles. I want to say that I can solve any puzzle if you give me enough time, but I think that's an unfair statement, because that's not how it works. You're supposed to solve the puzzle in X amount of time. So if you have, I don't know, 5 minutes to solve a puzzle and it takes you an hour, can you really call yourself a good problem solver? That's kind of the boat I'm in. Like, I want to say that, but it's an unfair statement, and it's basically untrue. You can't call yourself a good problem solver if it takes you 250,000 years to solve the puzzle, when you're expected to do it pretty fast. So keep that in mind too, is the puzzles are definitely going to slow me down. So I've only done each of them once, and
Guardian, Eris and I are establishing hidden operations near the cradle. What's your location?
We're in some kind of crop field.
What you see is a window into the Golden Age. Mars has returned with temporal instabilities, and Savathun's presence here is no coincidence.
We believe the reappearance of Mars drove her out of hiding. and our intel says she may be in a weakened state. The Cabal fleet is blocking the flight path onto her ship. We need you to find a way to get up there and track Savathun down.
This may be our only chance to strike.
Another thing is, unlike, you know, Final Fantasy, I actually have to wait for them to finish speaking. So I'm going to try to play with that in mind and be like, oh, there's something I want to say, but I can't right now. So I'll just internally monologue until they shut up. You know, I'll try to resist the urge to comment at every given moment, but I do have a lot to say about this campaign, and a little bit about my hunter, but should have done it earlier if I'm being honest, but I guess I'll do it here in a second. But yeah, as far as the campaign is concerned, I'll try not to quote-unquote spoil anything. You really shouldn't be watching this if you don't want to be spoiled. That should go without saying. Be that as it may, to be more specific, I'm trying to say I'm not going to spoil anything prior to it happening. Like who Imaru is, because initially I thought Imaru was one thing, and then I think midway, if not at the very end, I found out that's not the case at all. I don't remember. That's another thing that's kind of bad, is you won't get my initial reaction, but I'll try to just remember what it was as it's happening. So yeah, like Imaru, I'm not gonna get into that yet. Savathun, and there's a lot of Destiny 1 stuff that happened too, by the way. Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. That's another little thing I noticed. I don't know if that's an old mechanic they've done, but I definitely noticed it in the Witch Queen, is whenever you pick something up, it usually triggers ads to spawn. Oh, well, nah, let me keep to my word. I was going to comment on this right here, but I'll wait. All I'll say is, be careful when you go through it with other people.
Cabal are setting up a giant cannon. I have an idea. Head inside and get me to a console.
Oh, and the reason why I'm using the Ace of Spades is kind of tied into my hunter herself. I do have a Hawk Moon, a much better Hawk Moon. Basically, I have Zer's Hawk Moon, and I have feelings about that as well. For those who remember, you know how big the deal, especially Blue. Blue, I know, I say it like you are, but let's be honest, most likely not. But if you ever do happen to watch this, Blue is one of the people who knows how hard I've grinded for it. Blue was one of the first. Then there's, of course, Kuru and Chidori, two newer friends of mine who also helped with my Hawk Moon grind. Chidori, I've mentioned him in a past stream, that lucky son of a gun. He basically got like 2 different Hawk Moon God rolls. I essentially had to buy mine. But regardless of that, yeah, I do have Hawk Moon, but I kind of wanted to be a bit flashy, so...
I heard Savathun went into hiding thanks to the Awoken Queen, Mara Sav. So why is she showing herself again so soon? Seems too reckless for a god of cunning.
Oh, in addition to the gun, the Osiris trials... I want to call it a skin, so I guess I'll call it that. Ornament, skin, what have you. You know, got the Sagira Ghost. Shell, rather. And I'll get into that in a minute. Those of you know, I still say the car shell is my favorite, but Sagira shell is literally right behind that. And I'm... let me stop. Oh, hey. Feels nice, you know, not... Oh, another thing I should comment on. I'll have to show you my armor after this. I think that's when I'll talk a little bit about my hunter. My new hunter. Don't even try it. Gotta say, I do love the Void rework. Let me stop saying that. I need to try to get my thoughts together first. Because Gunslinger is my favorite, but Night Stalker has always been my second favorite.
We need fuel, power, and projectile control.
And it's only gotten better.
You'll be the projectile, of course. I know what you're thinking, but trust me. This will work. My plans always work. Let's start with opening the fuel line.
Back down you go. Let me just take care of these Muppets real quick, and then I'll talk about the hunter. I should have killed. Probably would have if I got that precision hit. Alright, so I'm going to go back in here just so I don't get bombarded. So, like I said, I like the symmetry between the Ace of Spades with this skin and then the Sagira shell, which is, those who know, very appropriate, especially considering when I got it. So that makes me doubly proud that I got this the legitimate way back in the day. Second thing is, you'll kind of have to ignore this because I did masterwork these two. Just simply subtract 2 from all the stats and you'll basically get this. In addition to, this is the stats I'm using right now. I do plan to change this though once I have my full kit masterwork, because this is essentially the ideal role I wanted for my hunter way back in, shoot man, like early season 15, because I still believe resilience is underrated severely, but you know, everyone's all about recovery, and I will admit being able to go invisible and just peace out and vibe while my health comes back immediately is very, very nice. So I'm not going to say I disagree fully, but I'm not going to say resilience is useless, because it's one of the only stats, if not the only stat, that has a direct counter to stasis. But yeah, if you just simply add +2, well, let me see, not +2, 2, 4, 6 to all these stats, and you'll see they become really good. Resilience, not too concerned about. Having 90, over 90 recovery will be great. Having over 100 intelligence will be great. And I plan to have over 110 mobility on purpose for this. And when I eventually get there, I'll be glad to show you. So, real quick rundown about my hunter, then I'll promise I'll get back into it. So, I made a new hunter, don't worry about why. And I had to re-get Night Stalker and Gunslinger. So, funny thing about that is, when I was re-getting all my skills for Night Stalker, I was using the Ace of Spades, and while using the Ace of Spades, and I think because it causes solar damage with Firefly, it unlocked Gunslinger. So again, I love that. Love the symmetry there. And again, with Season 15, I dedicated virtually all of Season 15 to trying to get my ideal hunter gear. I kid you not, with this new hunter, in the very first mission, in less than 5 hours, if an hour, I don't remember how long it took. It didn't take any amount of length of time at all. Like, I was still... I want to say I was still dealing with the Cabal. I don't remember where I was exactly, but I was not far in the story at all when I got these. And this is my ideal hunter set, so I find that kind of hilarious. And then, after getting my ideal hunter set, guess what Xur releases in 2 days? One of the best Hawkmoon rolls you could ever possibly get. But I bought mine, as you can see. And then I got my Dead Man's Tale. Now this one I did farm for. This is mine, not the one Xur sold. So for those who don't know, this is my roll of the Dead Man's Tale. The only thing I wish it had was the flinching rounds. For some reason I'm drawing high caliber. Thank you, high caliber rounds. That's the only thing I wish this one had. Everything else I think is fine. Like the stability is low, but to me that's not too big of a deal. Vorpal weapon, obviously useful. Armor piercing is also useful, but I'd rather have high caliber. And something else I noticed, I'll show this off real quick because it's not too big of a deal. Keep in mind I do have the catalyst, and I'm going to fire this as fast as I can. Does it feel slower? Does it feel slower to anyone else? I could have swore it used to shoot faster. I don't know if that's just me or what. Kind of like my hunter with 100 mobility feels faster than normal. I don't know if that's a placebo effect or if that's a genuine thing, but 100 mobility feels faster for some reason. Oh, so yeah, as I was saying, those 2 armor pieces that I masterworked, I did that after beating the campaign. So I seriously went through the entire campaign with just, what is it, like 18? Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what it was. I went through the entire campaign with just 18 stability, and let me tell you, on legendary, as a hunter, it was definitely a challenge. But I am happy that I was able to do it. But like I said, I would have really, really liked to have gotten a special emblem for that, because I really think I should have gotten one. That's quite a challenge. And I don't mean like, oh, you soloed it with a hunter, big deal. No, I mean just soloing it in general is a big deal. Now, should a hunter get extra credit or not, I don't know. We don't have barricades. We don't have rifts. And we only have invisibility because of this one specific class. So you tell me, what do you think? See, now that's something I really wish they would add, is like, when you kill someone while, or whether you do an attack while invisible, it'll do extra damage upon breaking invisibility. That'd be so cool. Really channel that assassin vibe they were going for. Another thing I like about the new the new Void subclass for Hunter, is whenever you get a kill, well, let me see if I can demonstrate it real quick. Yeah, you get the too stylish debuff. At first I didn't understand why it was a debuff, but I do now. It's, I guess, so you can't go back to back to back to back invisible. You still have to wait like 2 or 3 seconds. But I just like that. I just like that it's called too stylish, and the fact that it's a debuff.
One down, Guardian.
Like being too stylish is a bad thing. I know that's not what it's supposed to mean, but it still makes me laugh. Case in point. I think that was pretty stylish. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about the harvester ship. Oh, let me go and say this before I forget. With Ace of Spades, especially now that I'm not doing it on Legendary, this is going to be a very useful exotic. The exotics that I used, that I got really good success with, was Ace of Spades, Hawk Moon, and the Gallahorn. Keep in mind, I didn't really use the Gallahorn all that much until much later in the campaign. Like, I want to say maybe when I hit my first brick wall, and I'll talk about that when I get there.
Two lines open.
But yeah, now that one of Ace's better perks isn't on lockdown, that'll help out a lot. Because don't sleep on Third Eye. I'm not going to say it's heavily underestimated anymore. Most people who play Destiny now kind of know how good Third Eye is. But even without Third Eye, Ace of Spades is still the best hand cannon in the game, if you ask me. I've even seen some people recently, as a matter of fact, today, in the Discord that I'm in, Shadow Destiny, I believe, mention how Ace of Spades is the best hand cannon. I didn't bother to comment on it because I've done enough about it in my stream. Heck, I'm doing it right now. But yeah, I do still consider Ace of Spades to be the best hand cannon in the game because, as I said way back then, I'll say now, everything you want a hand cannon to do, Ace does. It actually has several perks in it compared to the regular exotic
Next
that has like
generators.
2. This one has like, what, 3, 4? I never bothered to really count. Matter of fact, let's do that right now. Actually, no, I'll do it during a cutscene because that involves math and thinking, and I can only kill and think, not kill, think, and math at the same time. On fire, shot him with a fire gun, a light solar gun. It's pretty neat. See what I meant about thinking? I kind of just go with the flow of battle, and if I can come up with a plan, the best plan I have is, there's a big dumb enemy charging at me, there's an explosive barrel right there, what to do, what to do. That's usually the extent of my plans, otherwise I just kind of react. Oh, some more advice I have for you is I would recommend, here, play with that. I'd recommend that if you see a bunch of heavy ammo around, like I do, like I see like 3 bricks. I see 3 bricks, at least. Don't just automatically use them. Like all those enemies that were around, I could have been like, oh look, there's 3 bricks of heavy ammo, let me just go ahead and use it. Don't do that, because many times, it happened to me quite a bit. Thankfully it was nothing too cataclysmic, but more times than I care to admit. I'm willing to bet like 4 or 5, if not more times, where I would use the heavy ammo in the area to like deal with these enemies, and then the very next room it would have me fight like 2 colossi or 2 ogres and 2 witches. It would be something really stupid. So try to use the heavy ammo wisely. Practice frugality with your heavy ammo.
You know, if I were a god of cunning, I wouldn't show up with a giant ship. It's like saying, here I am, come kill me. Or maybe Savathun's waving a red flag at a bull. Maybe we're the bull.
See, at first I discounted what Ghost said there, because I'm like, no, man, it's clearly for the Cabal. But later, well, turns out Ghost was right. I thought he was saying that in the retrospect of this hunter, my guardian. See, and here's another thing about the story that I don't like. I didn't need to do that. I think I did that as a reaction from all the Dares of Eternity, aka Zer's game show I've been playing. What was I saying? Something about... Oh, right. The story. I have some very big problems with the story. Nothing like quite rivaling Endwalker, but you will see similarities, I'm not gonna lie.
To get the lift moving.
As far as things that I don't like.
Engineers carry them.
Because Ghost says things that he shouldn't say. And at first I was mad about that, but then when I stopped and, you know, took my time to think about it, I realized, well, I seriously doubt Bungie did this. I'd be genuinely surprised if they did. But I don't think they bothered to put in unique dialogue. Case in point, my hunter, this hunter, technically, obviously, has not had any interactions with the darkness. Now, the game does take that into account because you do get a darkness-related ability later, but my hunter here has not dealt with stasis, has not been on Europa at all, and she has not fought Oryx, hasn't even met Oryx, you know, things like that. So you would think then Ghost might say certain things about that, but I sincerely doubt Bungie took that next step, so I honestly believe that whether you do that stuff or not, Ghost will say what he always says anyway, and with that in mind is why it kind of annoys me, because Ghost says things he should know better. I'll be sure to point that out as soon as I get the chance. Oh, something else I love is that I like how with the Void, I'm glad they chose to do Void because it has several lore reasons. Well, maybe not lore reasons why Bungie itself would choose to go with Void, but I'm glad they did, because when Savathun was scheming, the light that she focused on was the Void. For those who don't remember or didn't know, there was a strike. It was one of my favorite strikes in the game, as a matter of fact. Back on Titan, Savathun's song. It mentions how Savathun was using some kind of hive magic to capture void light, right? So even way back then, she was doing experiments with the light. And on top of that is, well, I'm gonna save that. All I'm gonna say is, I like that as a hunter, I can use suppression grenades, because suppression and flashbang grenades were my two favorites, but they were only for the Titan. So, as a hunter, I'm glad I can get them as well. I mean, you know, when Arc eventually gets their rework, I'm not gonna care for Arc. It's literally my least favorite subclass for my hunter. And to be honest, depending on what they do with Gunslinger, Night Stalker might actually beat out my Gunslinger, depending on how they rework it. Because right now, I'm not kidding, Night Stalker is dead weight tied with my Gunslinger. Maybe, if I'm to be so bold, maybe even a little bit better. Because, again, versatility, being able to do this pretty much whenever I want, as well as the tether I specifically am choosing to use, is really good. I like that I can support my team like this. I can go invisible, revive like the entire team. I've done that before. I can use my tether to more or less do the same thing. It weakens enemies. It does great damage on its own. I love it. So, oh, and I like when I go invisible, it actually breaks tracking. I would have went up and done that, but I didn't know his health was that low. I'm not used to doing that much damage, because, you know, legendary.
Get me to that console. I'll activate the lift.
Also, funnily enough, there's this one perk in the game called... I can't remember what it's called, dang it. But basically, the perk rewards you for reloading early. And it made me chuckle when I read it, because it reminded me of myself, because, you know, I usually reload early, because I want to go into fresh engagements with as many bullets as possible, i.e. max magazine. Oh, some other things I kind of don't like is it's gonna be really weird seeing a Titan with like a trip mine grenade. That's such a Hunter-esque kind of thing, you know. But anyway, so one of the things that I don't like is here. I'll just show you. As a matter of fact, masterworking weapons no longer. Hold on. Masterworking weapons no longer allows them to spawn orbs of light anymore. Now you need a specific mod to do it. And in this case, I'm using, should be right about here, I think. Way off. Right here. Rapid kinetic weapon final blows create an orb of power. Equipping multiple copies of this mod increases the potency of the generated orb. Now, I didn't know about that part. I didn't bother reading it. All I know was I need this now if I want to generate my orbs. It's interesting that it says multiple copies, though. How would... Oh, they must mean, like, right here. I was about to say. Yeah, they do. Well, I kind of like having my hand cannon targeting, so most likely not. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed with that, because...
Lift is active. We just have to adjust the trajectory.
Because you have to, generate... I mean, yeah. You have to give up... Really? You have to give up a mod slot just for an ability you got for free. Whenever things like that happens, it reminds me of this amazing game. I highly recommend you all look it up if you haven't already. Called DLC Quest. DLC Quest. Look it up if you haven't seen it already. It's brilliant. It's really good because of the.
When I was searching for the cannon schematics, I saw marching orders from Keitel. She wants to retake Mars as Cabal territory. Not sure how she'll feel about us interfering.
The satire is like really great. It's like one of those kind of games.
Alright, the cannon is aligning. Time to reload, Guardian.
Like, to give you a basic feel of it.
Be fine. But I'll stand by to revive. Just in case.
See, that actually pisses me off. I was about to swear right there. I'm gonna try not to do that, because I'm not
to my
angry.
No
I'm
Guardian
just angry.
has ever been on Savathun's ship before.
But since those won't shut up.
Either she's inviting us aboard, or she's so weak after that encounter with Queen Mara that she's getting clumsy. I'm hoping for the latter, but I wouldn't bet on it.
Alright, so now that we're here, I did this mission the other day with some randoms, and they got to the cannon before me. By the time I got in, I knew not to be close to them because it was going to kill me. But by the time I got there, the cannon essentially had already closed and then fired, so I didn't get to position myself like I wanted to. And sure enough, it killed me. I was slammed into like the back of a warlock and I died. They didn't die. Because why would they? We only collided at the exact same velocity to each other. But no, only I died.
We made it onto the ship, and we're seeing traces of void light. Seems like maybe another Guardian got up here first.
That's impossible. Perhaps we've acted too hastily. There are too many unknowns.
Savathun is the god of cunning. To wait for a moment when her intentions are clear, we would wait forever.
Not forever. Just until we can provide backup. Guardian, Eris and I are pinned down. If you turn back now, it'll give us more time to plan.
I don't think Savathun will give us free time, Ikora. This might be our only shot. Don't worry, we'll handle it.
Be careful.
So anyway, I was waiting for them to stop talking so I could say something that I do think is interesting is you can actually see the battlegrounds from up here. That's actually cool. In addition to, you know, when it killed me and I respawned, it didn't respawn me up here. No. It respawned me in the cannon room. Nah, I'm just kidding. It screwed me over even worse. It spawned me like somewhere down there. I had to run up. You know the little engine room where I was saying something to the effect of how I can't kill and think and math at the same time? It spawned me outside of that room. Way back. Outside of that room. That's how far it spawned me for killing me for something that was not my fault. As a matter of fact, I saved it. I just remembered. I saved it. I also saved my initial fight with Savathun. I don't know if I'll bother uploading it because I only saved it in the off chance that I couldn't replay the story, because every other time I wanted to replay the story I had to make a new character. So, but yeah, I actually saved it, and it screwed me over that hard for something that was legitimately not my fault. And I was going to title the video something to the effect of, Bungie, I love you, but then in the comment I was going to say, fix your freaking game. I was going to be more vulgar than that, but like I said, I'm trying not to swear. So another thing is, I really hate, I'm going to keep that to myself, and maybe that was my fault, but a lot of the time Ghost will just straight up lose the thread. Like right now, it's gone. It's telling me to go this way, so that's not too big of a deal. So I'm not going to play. Oh, hold on, let me see. Yeah, that's cool. This is something I learned kind of recently. I didn't bother to try it way back in Destiny 1 on Venus, and Destiny 2 on Titan. The reason why I like those planets is because it rained all the time. I love the rain. It's one of the few things that soothe my raging soul. So I would look up in the sky, and you could actually see the water droplets on my hunter's visor. Check this out. You can tell with the water graphics. Then when you look up, same thing. Actually, it sounds kind of different. I'm not sure if this one's actually doing it, but I do like that. I like that a lot, that they bothered to do that. Now, all they need to do is add in a mission or a world that rains as well, or give us Titan back, and I will be ecstatic. Or heck, give us Venus. Haven't had Venus since Destiny 1. I would probably prefer Titan, though, because it rained constantly on Titan, and Venus, it was like a drizzle at best. Okay, the Lucient Hive. Let me explain how these... Should have went in and shot it. Actually, no, this is fine. Actually, dang it, I could have explained right there. But this is something I like to do. That. Just kill them both. So, Lucent Hive. They have a blue...
Did you see that moth just now? It was glowing with light. Not corrupted light, Guardian, but light like ours.
Yeah, thanks, Ghost. That's something else I'm going to have to mention in a bit. So, yeah. Light like ours. The moth will give the Lucient... Because I said Lucent Hive like it applies to all of them, but it doesn't. Not really. I mean, maybe they're the only ones who get the buff because they're the only ones with the moth, but regardless of that, the moth itself gives them the blue health bar. More health. When you break the blue health bar, you exorcise the blue moth from the Lucent Hive. Then the Lucent Moth will do one of two things. It will, if there's more enemies around, specifically Hive, Lucent Hive, it'll fly to them and possess them, give them more health and stuff. You'll just have to do the whole thing. It's basically immortal. If you don't kill their host and then them, they can't be killed. Or, if there's no host available, it will fly towards you and kamikaze. Oh, and I guess I'll go ahead and say this now. In this very room, as a matter of fact, I died in a way that was not my fault, because I didn't know about it. I didn't know they were volatile. And I don't remember shooting it either, so I guess when it must have blew up on me the first time, and I thought, you know, maybe there was a random boomer or something nearby that I missed. But when I had gotten to the end of this hallway, I apparently, somehow, killed two moth-possessed Lucent Hive at the same time, and both of the moths flew at me and then blew me up, killing me instantly, because I didn't have enough health to survive it. So, you know, thanks, Ghost. Thanks for telling me... That wasn't even me. Thanks, Ghost, for telling me now that they freaking explode. Oh, he didn't. My mistake. He doesn't drop that bombshell on you till a little bit later. No pun intended. Oh, let me tell you, this was also... This is nowhere near as difficult as one of the rooms that nearly made me give up. But I think this one only took me 2 or 3 tries to do it. Like, the first one, I don't even want to really count the first one. But at the same time, I don't want to be a hypocrite or be that guy. A death is a death, regardless of whether it was my fault or not. A death is a death. But you cannot deny that it was unfair. One, I'm not warned that they freaking explode. And 2, because I didn't know that, I didn't even know what they were. So, which is so weird, so I don't know how I missed it the first time. Oh, I need to get this. These actually disappear if you take too long. Yeah. Of course, if you miss one, then it'll just spawn another enemy that has one. But yeah, somehow I missed the first one. Like, it blew up, and I guess I thought it was something else. Because I saw them, I was like, oh, what is that? And then they flew at me, and then it killed me. I was like, oh, okay. That's what that is. Death. You can see why I said Ace of Spades is really good. So I would encourage you to bring this for Legendary. Hawkmoon, maybe, because again, it does really good damage, especially on bosses. But at the same time, if you have Gallahorn, you might want to bring that too. It really depends, because you have Hawkmoon, which has unlimited ammo, unlimited boss damage ammo, versus the Gallahorn, which has cocaine high levels of damage, but has limited ammo and limited drops, and you might not see a heavy ammo brick for like 20 minutes depending on the mission you're doing. So it's kind of like a pick your poison kind of deal. So that's why I recommend them both, depending on what exactly the fight you're doing and what exactly you need should determine which one you bring. Like when I go and fight Savathun, I really don't know, because I don't want to risk blowing myself up. I was about to spoil something there, so let me stop. But yeah, that'd be a really embarrassing way to die. Oh, here's another thing. Well, I guess it's really not worth pointing out because I'm not going to remember every specific spot, but most of them should be kind of obvious. It's not happening now, most likely because I already beat the campaign on Legendary, and it makes sense why it wouldn't do it when you replay the story this way, because you'd be grinding for gear, but it'd be infinitely less effective compared to doing it virtually any other way. But when you're doing it on Legendary, you get two chests. You get your regular chest, which I'm guessing is from doing the story for the first time, and then you get your Legendary chest for doing it on Legendary. So you get two chests.
The Hive shouldn't be able to use the light against us. They shouldn't be able to use it at all. The Traveler would never grant them that power. Not willingly, anyway. This just isn't adding up. We need to find Savathun.
Ah, that was fastball at work. About to say the one time I'm trying to aim between their legs. Actually did get it though. Because who doesn't love when their rocket launcher goes right between the legs of a Minotaur? I know I do. Here's another little trick you can do. Oh, and yes,
I'm picking up unusual
should have reloaded
energy
first
readings from that statue. Let's make a quick detour.
Yeah, I was getting overconfident there. I should have reloaded first and I could have killed more. But any ammo that drops in there is actually there. They're not like... I don't know if the enemies would actually be there. Like if I left them alone, will I be dealing with an army of thralls? But the very first time I saw that, I killed some and I got a heavy ammo to drop. And then when I went to the room, it was actually there. Now, thanks for telling me that. I already knew, but I still appreciate it. Yeah, see? That thing looked like it was part of the atmosphere, but it wasn't. Because you see, look at those tiny little moths. Oh, aren't they precious? So they fuck... Well, I already ruined that. Fucking explode. There, I'll just say it. How long was that? Like 10, 15 minutes? If that? I was like, uh-oh.
Those moths will attack if you don't shoot them, Guardian.
Yes, thanks, Ghost. I know that. Come on. But yeah, don't worry about it. I'm not as agitated as I usually am. Oh, these things also fly like they're drunk or something. You need to be careful of that. I'm about to say it's right beneath me, so I was trying to time that. But yeah, I'm not as agitated as I usually am. It's just thinking about some of the things in the story are annoying me. But I won't let it, you know, get to me like I did a couple of times with Endwalker.
That statue doesn't look Hive. I've never seen anything like it. Looks like pyramid technology. What's it doing on Savathun's ship?
Yeah,
we should bring it back to Ikora.
I guess I'll say a little bit now because I don't want to risk forgetting it later. But I genuinely do like Savathun. And I don't mean like her like, can I call you mommy like her, like some other people do. But I mean like her in the sense that I do like the impact that she has on the story. Like with Oryx, when we were dealing with Oryx, even then I knew Savathun would be a big deal. Obviously not this big. I didn't know anything like that. I'm not clairvoyant. I'm not going to pretend I have a galaxy brain and like, oh yes, I knew this was happening the entire time. No, I just knew she was going to be a big deal because it mentions how she specifically was the one that led to, I can't remember their original names, her siblings, all of them were sisters back then, her siblings to becoming the Hive. Savathun did that. Well, technically her worm familiar did, but you get what I'm saying. If there was no Savathun, there'd be no Hive. Unless, of course, the other ones got worm familiars, but I doubt that. So, yeah, I feel pretty confident making that statement. Oh, that feels good. So another thing I couldn't do. Well, I could, but there'd be consequences. And legendary is if you kill acolytes. If you kill acolytes, they will spawn fire pits. So it was kind of dangerous to melee them. I never died from it. Like, I'd be really low on health, and then out of pure reaction, I'd stab one, and then I'd burn to death. That never happened, but it could potentially happen. And of course, that was what makes it dangerous. I was trying to shoot that explosive barrel, but the bullet magnetism is too strong. It's pulling towards them, which is fine. Okay, that works. Yeah, I told you, that's usually the extent of my plans. Oh, that reminds me of a funny little joke. I did take a screenshot of this. I'll probably just upload it to my Twitter, but it'll be one of those jokes where if you don't know what's going on, then it's not funny, because it's only really funny to me. And I loathe explaining jokes, because then there is no joke if you explain it. So maybe I won't explain it. I'll just say it involves something Saladin said. Lord Saladin. I don't mind calling him Lord Saladin. He actually earns my respect. It's something Lord Saladin said, and it has to do with how much discipline my hunter had. At the time, she had zero discipline, because of the stats that I gave her. Perfect. So that's what made it funny to me. I feel like I was talking about something else, though. Like,
there are reports of Savathun trying to capture void light from dead guardians. Maybe this is related. Maybe she's been studying the void all this time.
Yeah, see?
Could that be how she did this?
See? Ghost commented on that. I'm guessing, again, that's for our benefit, because Ghost... I'm not... See, I wasn't really paying attention there. That's my fault. But I can't tell the way he said it, if he was saying, like, oh, maybe she was doing this the entire time back in Savathun's song, or if he was saying it like he generally does not know. Because from my Guardian's perspective, yeah, Ghost wouldn't know, which is what makes it kind of annoying, but I know. And if Bungie did not take that into consideration, then it should be programmed that Ghost and the Guardian went on that mission. So Ghost should know that as well. But the reason why I'm so flip-floppy about that is because of a comment that Ghost makes specifically that he has no business making. And that's kind of when the first red flag started to pop up for me. About what canonicity is this?
That was Savathun. Hurry.
I like this next part a lot. I mean, a lot of a lot. Like, the Taken were cool. I mean, back when we thought Taken Guardians were going to be an enemy. Funnily enough, people are still on about that, where they thought Taken Guardians would be an enemy in the Witch Queen too. But to the Taken's credit, they do have Guardian-esque abilities, like the Titan Bubble, the Warlock's Nova Bomb. Can't really say anything Hunter-esque that they had, though. Oh, plus they also had some of their actual abilities, like the Axion Dart, which is associated with the Warlocks. Invisibility, like the Hunters. But these guys are a new breed. And I like them for it. Because they are legitimately dangerous, and they would beat the snot out of the Taken. Yep, see? And what makes that cool is not only is that a Titan bubble, or a Titan barricade, that's the Titan's Titan barricade. Oh, hold on. I'd rather you not do that. And that's why I love suppression. That's why I've always loved suppression. It even works on them.
No, that's impossible. Is that a ghost? It can't be. Get me closer, Guardian. I have to see.
Yeah, that's something I nearly forgot about. The not the Taken Ghost, but the Hive Ghost. And I'll be honest with you, when we get there, I'll get into it. I despise what they've done with the Hive Ghost. They, in my opinion, they objectively made it worse. Press.
We have to stop its ghost. There's no other way.
I'm just gonna go through it.
That thing is not like me. You see that, right?
Yeah, in that moment.
I can't believe this.
I should have waited.
We have to keep going. Oh, Traveler, what has she done to you?
I should have waited. Would have made it more dramatic. I mean, I obviously wouldn't hesitate because I know what to do. And to be fair, I didn't hesitate the first time because as soon as I saw that golden orb above his head, I was like, what? I can finish the ghost? Oh, let me comment on that right now while I'm thinking about it. This is something I've always hated, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in a past stream. Especially back in Forsaken. I'm almost certain I mentioned it in Forsaken. It was said, and I think this, I'm not going to say Bungie or Digital Extremes, I think it's the other company, took themselves seriously. I think it was more of the fandom. But the fandom was like, oh, you know, Warframe can beat the out of Guardians. Which, to be fair, they could. And then it was like, oh, well, no, they can't, because we Bungie say that only darkness-oriented things can kill ghosts. You know, the random ammunition that the marksman just happened to have was able to kill Cade's ghost. Even though for every other instance, when it comes to us, our ghost always seems to open up some kind of force field to keep himself safe. But no, not Cade's ghost. Why would Cade even make that decision? Like, I'm sure he's in pain because Clovis Bray thought it'd be a brilliant idea to allow machines to feel pain. So I'm sure Cade was hurting. But at the same time, that was such a dumb decision. Like, Cade, just fight it out, man. Just recover naturally, you know, like we do. Ghost doesn't have to do this every time we recover. So again, they made Cade die just because they wanted him to die, just for the sake of the story. Realistically, Cade would not have done that because that was stupid. Even by Cade standards, that was really dumb. But getting back on track, if it took darkness-infused munitions to kill a ghost, then you mind telling me why we can just grab a ghost like a bag of chips and squeeze it until it pops? There's no darkness involved in that. Oh, but your character has the darkness. One, no, mine doesn't. Oh, well, you know, it applies to anyone who does. Then how come there's no special visual effect? Why does your hand not turn stasis-y with the ice? Why is there no dark eminence coming off your hand? No, your character squeezes the ghost to death. So, with their brute force. You know, a Titan sure as heck could do it. So, how is that possible then? How could it be ghosts can only be killed by darkness-infused munitions to where if I squeeze one really, really hard, it'll kill it, to the point where even a hunter could do it. And remember, hunters and warlocks do not have enhanced physical strength. Titans do. So, and I would probably say that a hunter might be stronger than a warlock because they're more physical. So I would say maybe the warlock is physically the weakest if you want to do that. If a warlock could physically squeeze a ghost to death, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Again, that was the second red flag. It might have been the first. I'm kind of losing track. There's been quite a bit. But yeah, I despise that about the Hive Ghost. That's number one. It's a cool as hell animation, don't get me wrong. But it also is wrong. So there's that. Then there's the story behind how the Hive Ghost came to be, which I hate even more than what I just explained. But we'll get there when we get there. Also, something else I want to comment on is you got to remember, when I was doing this by myself, I wasn't talking to anybody. I wasn't streaming it. There was nobody here. It was just me. I could not hear Hive Thrall sneaking up on me. I honestly think they changed their tails, their audio, to where her Thrall was sneaking up on you. It makes that really haunting noise. I could not hear any of that. It's like 1 second I'm fighting an acolyte, then the next thing I'm getting exploded with arc damage. So I honestly think they changed that for the Thralls, and I don't think it was just a legendary thing. I think they actually changed it. See how much fun that is? Can't do that with my gunslinger, so I don't know, man. Night Stalker might be getting ready to overtake it. In the beginning I liked Gunslinger more, but Night Stalker is slowly winning me over to being my new favorite. Because I was always known, I know I've mentioned this in my past streams, how could I not? It was something I was quite proud of back in Destiny 1. Amongst my friends, I was known as, I'm not going to give myself like a stupid nickname, but I was one of the hunters, or I was one of the players that would almost always survive, even if the entire team died. So I was really good at just running away, being evasive, even without being invisible. I could do it on my Gunslinger. So needless to say, with the invisibility option in addition to that, yeah, makes it work. Also, they're not sprinting at me. Something I should comment on is in the Legendary campaign it mentions the enemies are more aggressive, and they are. Like the Cursed Thrall, and regular Thrall do it too, but the Cursed Thrall typically don't. Even the Cursed Thrall were sprinting at me silently. So, and there's no radar. That's something else I should also mention. In case it wasn't obvious, when I said the first time about how one of Ace's abilities are neutered, that's what I meant. Third Eye does not work in Legendary because there's no radar, so Third Eye would be a dead target. Of course, Ace of Spades is more than just Third Eye, so it's not too big of a deal, but it is something worth mentioning, is you will get flanked hella hard in Legendary, especially if you are by yourself. Uh-oh. There we go. Also, something else I'm not used to is, now that I'm actually doing it, I might also be wrong, because I thought the room was clear for a second. I think the enemies are also, yeah, I know this one's true for sure. I don't even really need to think about it. Not only are the enemies less aggressive, they're not spawning as much. Like, when I was doing it on Legendary, there'd be entire rooms that were filled to the gills with Hive or Scorn. Speaking of Scorn, I'm interested in seeing Fergal again, or Fergal, or I can't remember his name. The Fanatic, him. Because he is still alive. And I'm very curious what a interaction between him and Crow will be. Because they knew each other. And Aldrin apparently got his memories back. Unfortunately, I didn't do that part of the campaign. I was dragging my feet too much with other things, and I just missed out on it. Or it might have been tied to that exotic quest that has like 125 parts. I can't remember which one. You guys know what I'm talking about. The one that has so many different parts to it. If it was attached to that, that's why I didn't do it. But he has his memories back, meaning he remembers killing Cade. He remembers the Fanatics. He remembers being tricked by Riven. He remembers all of it. So it'd be really interesting to see him and the Fanatic meet up again. I think that'd be a really cool interaction. And the Fanatic is still alive. His immortality is even better than the Guardian's, because he doesn't need a Guardian. He just comes back. Or, sorry, he doesn't need a ghost. He just comes back. So his immortality is even more powerful than ours.
What
also,
is this place? This doesn't look like a Hive throne world.
Yeah, this place is like, if I could describe it in 2 words, I would say disturbingly beautiful. Because it is. It's generally very pretty. I don't know what the Hive's obsession is with water, because they do have like a lot of water or liquids in their territories, like in their ships and all that stuff. They do have a lot of, I'm just going to call it water, even if it really isn't. But there's got to be some kind of water, because these are very clearly lily pads. I'm about to say the water's really flat, though. Or low. So yeah. I don't know what that's all about, but yeah, this place is very pretty. Oh, some more advice I'd recommend if you want to do this on Legendary, whether it's by yourself or not, is with your armor, I would recommend putting on arc resilience, because the last thing you want is to be bombarded by like 4 night boomers. You will not have a good time. So that will help a little bit, but also if you have concussive dampener as well, which is protecting you from AoE effects, which are what the boomers are. So that would also be a wise decision. If there's anything that's going to kill you, it's almost certainly going to be arc damage. Excuse me. And I was not kidding about how aggressive they are. Like, they're literally firing their boomers non-stop with ungodly accuracy. Like, they will not miss if you do not move. They don't just, like, hit the walls or anything. It almost always seems to find its way to hit you no matter where you're standing. Unless you're directly above or under them, they will find a way to hit you. I was about to melee that one because I miss knifing them in the throat. Maybe, because again, they didn't do that with the other campaigns, so maybe in the future, when there's more hard content, like legendary content, I might stream it, because I'm pretty sure people will be interested in seeing that.
Tell me, O honored guest.
It's her.
How did you do it? How did you find the strength to destroy something so like yourself?
There.
To look in a mirror and kill what looks bad.
Ah, that was kind of a waste. The only reason why I did that is because I knew I could get away with it, but you don't want to do that on Legendary. You wouldn't want to do that. See what I meant? Oh, and sometimes they fly really, really lopsided. Like, they're just, like, corkscrewing through the entire air sometimes. Especially if they, like, get caught in a corner. Like, if they're trying to fly up there and they get caught right in there, they're buzzing around like this. I'm not even joking. They're really hard to hit. I guess you could use an explosive, but that seems a bit of an overkill for a problem that can relatively fix itself. What? Oh, that reminds me though, that's something else I kind of hate about the thralls. Mostly melee enemies in general, actually. See what I meant? Melee enemies in general. Let me see why she's not taking damage from this, because I could have swore. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. They must have like just barely hit that missile-proof flower pot or something. Because I could have swore I shot 2 rockets right at her and they did nothing.
Come on.
Also,
You're strong. That was too easy.
in case it wasn't already obvious for Ghost saying that, remember earlier how I told you in the Legendary campaign it always made 2 chests appear per encounter? Don't you think it's a little suspicious that only 1 appears? I'm not even kidding. Like I said, I'm going to kind of reenact how I felt the very first time. The very first time I saw there was only 1 chest, I was like, okay, that's odd. I didn't expect what happens next, but when I saw that, I was like, that can't be right. Why is there only 1 chest? And then...
It did seem too easy, didn't it?
I like how it's also called Threadbound. I saw the name the first time, but I don't think I remembered it. But the fact that it's called Threadbound, and then by the time you get to the end of the game, and, you know, I think that's really cool. So keep that in mind, Threadbound. Oh, no, there's no cutscene. Oh, no, that defeats the entire point. I was hoping to show the cutscenes. Oh, that's so horrible. Oh man, that really sucks. Alright, well, dang man, I was really hoping they'd show the cutscenes. Okay, well, I'll just change the name of the title for this stream to something like My Thoughts on the Witch Queen, and then I'll go through it. So, Threadbound is interesting because by the time you get to Savathûn, you get this buff called Thread Cutter, so that's cool. So, dang man, this would have been so much better with the cutscenes, because then I could actually explain it as we go. Man, that bothers me so much. I should have tested it first, though. So, I guess I'll leave my thoughts here, and then explain as I go. So, some things that happen in the campaign, they're going to be all out of order, so just bear with me. One of them is Ghost saying something to the effect of, when we realize that Savathûn has taken the light, he's like, that's impossible though, right? How could she take the light? And then it was either Eris or Ikora who said something like, nothing's impossible for Savathûn, or something like that. Ghost should know better, because the Red War, Gaul, this artifact we have literally, well, that's the Ghost, this artifact we have literally right now, based off of that technology that Ghost should know about. So that was kind of stupid. Savathûn being chosen by the Traveler, that wasn't too big of a revelation for me. because with Destiny 1, back when I read all the Grimmer, well, most of the Grimmer cards that I could get my hands on, one of them mentions how when Savathun led her siblings into the deep, there was this light-oriented creature down there as well. Like, it was associated with the Traveler. It might have even been, I don't know what exactly it was. I can't remember how they described it, like if it was a whale or what have you, but it was a creature of the light. And it tried to warn them, hey, if you do this, you're going to regret it. And they're like, nah, it'll be fine. So they went on about their business. So me knowing that, and then coming fast forward now, it's like, oh, the Traveler initially had chosen Savathun as well, you know. It doesn't surprise me, because it was going to choose her anyway. And then later on, when we share that information with everybody else, Zavala almost has a meltdown as far as his personality is concerned. And Ikora Rey, in her badass I'm coming out of my funk moment, says it doesn't matter. Empowering moment for bald women everywhere, Ikora, but you're wrong. It actually does matter. That's a very big deal. That's like saying Savathun scheming. We don't know what she's scheming. Oh, it doesn't matter. It does matter, because we find out why the Traveler did that. We couldn't predict what it's going to do next or how to stop it. So saying the Traveler choosing Savathun, even though the Hive were among the enemies that the light or the Traveler sacrificed itself to protect us from, that is kind of a big deal, Ikora. I hate to kill your moment there, but it does matter. What else did they say? Trying to think. Okay, let me go back to the Hive Ghost, because I do remember that one. I despise the Hive Ghost, because, you know what, while we're on that topic, let me go talk to him. Damn, man, that really makes me mad. If you're going to let us replay the cutscenes, why would you not replay the missions? Why would you not give us the cutscenes back? Like, I already know, like I said before, if you play Forsaken, you're never playing it again, especially now. You're never playing it again. The Red War, same thing. Once that's over, it's over. There is no journal at the end where you can rewatch most of the cutscenes. Final Fantasy 14 is getting pretty bad at that now too. But yeah, once it's over, it's over. But this one's like, oh, you can replay the missions, but no cutscenes for you. That really sucks. Now, that sucks hardcore. But yeah, so let me introduce you to this one Hive Ghost. I actually do like him, because if I was a ghost, I'm pretty sure my personality would be closer to his than our actual ghosts. And on top of that, I do like in this one, Ghost has a bit more personality. I do hate...
I'm waiting to talk to you about this all day.
Also, I found these two. They're kind of cute. Cute and, I don't know. They're just cute, but they're also kind of weird. So yeah, this is,
Investigation's like a dance, yeah? You can know all the steps, but it is easy. Good times, good times.
I don't know why he's still here, because whenever you come over here, he's always looking at his, well, Hive Guardian. He's obviously choosing not to revive him for reasons, but that's a little strange. So the thing that I despise most about the Hive Ghost, on par with, if not more, than you can just crush them to death. By that logic, my Ace of Spades, heck, my Hawk Moon, a weapon of the light, like quite literally, Hawk Moon was created by the light, should be able to kill a Hive Ghost by that logic. But regardless of that, okay, you know what? Let me back up. Maybe I'm wrong, because I just thought about this. Maybe, I sincerely doubt it, because allegedly they're still tied to the light, and I don't know where the Grimmer book is on this, so I could be wrong. But maybe the reason why Hive Ghosts can be killed so easily is because they don't quite have the same level of protection as a regular ghost that can be only be killed by dark-oriented weapons. Maybe that's why. Maybe. But I don't like filling in the loopholes, or plot holes, sorry, not loopholes, plot holes for people because they're bad writing. So if it's explained that's the case, fine. But if it's not, I'm not giving them that excuse. I'm not writing it for them. They can't have that. You wrote it to where ghosts can only be killed by dark-oriented things. So us crushing them to death should only be possible because they don't have that Traveler protection. That is the only logic there. Otherwise, it's just there because it looks cool and the what have I done while looking at your hand. Anyway, I just remembered something else I wanted to comment on about the Traveler. Again, this has been stated. I do remember mentioning this in one of my other past streams, is how the Traveler left the Fallen and then came to us. When it came to us, Mithrax's daughter even comments on how the Traveler didn't bless us, or didn't bless her people the way it blessed our people, and if her people were blessed with immortality like ours were, theirs would have found a much more useful way of using that aside from just killing each other in the Crucible. So the Traveler blesses each race differently. Fine. Each race differently. Fine. But then also I mentioned how Rasputin, I hate him as well. I hate him a lot. Rasputin had a contingency plan to where if the Traveler tries to leave, he will open fire on it, not to kill it, but to cripple it, so that the Traveler couldn't leave. So whatever it was trying to flee from, it would have to stay and fight it along with us. So Rasputin already has plans for that. Apparently it doesn't mean jack all, because you know what happens later. Ikora says it's an illusion, but later she says, oh, the Traveler's back, so who really knows? But yeah, so Rasputin has plans with that in mind. So with that being the case, I don't know if Zavala and them knew about this, but I did. Me personally, am not surprised at all that the Traveler would choose to bless Savathun, in addition to the reason I mentioned earlier, and would want to leave humanity. Whether that's because the darkness is coming at us now, or rather the witness, if that's what that thing was. I'm glad I remember that too, because I'm trying to remember everything I said. Let me go ahead and do this too. Here, read some of these bounties. I'm trying to remember everything I said too, because I don't want to leave anything out. So I'm trying to cover all my major grievances with the story. And another one is, I despise, I'm using that word a lot, I know, so let me just change it up a bit. I loathe what they did with the witness. I hate what they did with the witness, because when they first show it, you know, with the wavy hands and like the after images it makes when it moves his arms, that was creepy. And then when you see the clothes, if you can even call it that it wears. Hold on, I think Finn is about to talk. Give him a second.
Hi, Cora. I'm picking up some familiar darkness readings. The same sort of energy the pyramids give off.
My Hidden have reported Scorn smuggling pyramid tech into the throne world. Likely on behalf of this witness.
Hey.
Stay cautious, but see what you can learn.
We're on it.
What are the odds of that? So yeah, the clothing that the witness wears is similar to the... I mean, it's like no duh similar to the pyramids itself, but I mean the clothing moves like the pieces of the pyramid, so that's really weird looking, which I like. But then, almost forgot the coolest part. They have this smokestack that has like countless faces floating inside of it. So again, very, very creepy. It's like they did everything right except for one fatal flaw. Like if it was up to me, I would have told them not to do this. I would have fought them on this if they had done it. But what they did was they gave the witness a face, and in and of itself that's already bad because now you've humanized it. One of the reasons why, you know, wearing masks, like in horror movies or soldiers, you know, them wearing masks, like the stormtroopers, I mean, stormtroopers are nothing to be afraid of at all, especially if you're just a few meters away. But stormtroopers are dehumanized. That's why Finn was such a big deal back in the day. Like, oh, we get to see the eyes of a stormtrooper. It's because they're dehumanized with their mask. You don't see their face. So by giving the darkness a face, you've humanized it. And that's exactly why I kill every enemy I see. Heck yeah. That's why I kill every enemy I see. But back to what I was saying, you humanize the darkness now, so now it's objectively less scary. But as if that was not bad enough, the face that it has is so derpy. It reminds me of like the love child of Jiren and Jocko. That's what its face looks like. It is so bad. It lost all of that hype when it showed the face. Like if you were gonna humanize the darkness, or rather the witness, by giving it a face, you should not have made it look like that. You really shouldn't have. Nah, and another thing about that is they were so close, man. Like, I didn't say this about my hunter, but the gloves I have on, I like them. But it's hard to say if I like them I also don't know what to do with this. Like, every time I see people pick it up, they always throw it at this machine. So if I'm doing it wrong, sorry. But anyway, it's like the gloves I have on right now, I kind of like them more than the other ones because they're thinner. But around the wrists and the hands, I would say the other gloves my hunter had look better, and I'll show you once this is over. They were like so close because on these gloves, one, they're segmented around the wrist. I don't know why, but they are, even though the Warlock's gloves don't do that. So that's kind of strange. Then on top of that, you can barely see it, but look at my hunter's right wrist. You can kind of see like a watch, because that's what it is. So you know in like Call of Duty and Battlefield and all that stuff, when a character's wearing a watch, it's usually on the left hand, whether facing forwards or outwards, inwards or outwards, making the character look more tactical. You can tell at Bungie, they had that same idea, but then some galaxy brain genius thought, hey, you know how we could do that? Make the hunter, you know, look more tactical in addition to their like 12 pouches and 14 knives they got strapped to them. Yeah, let's also give them a watch, but instead we put it on the right wrist instead of the left one. That way the hunter never fucking sees it. And then when they said that, the leader said, you know what, give this Futtermucker a promotion. That's the most genius thing I've heard all week. And that's exactly what they did. That's how these gloves got into the game. Stupid, man. They were so close. And I said all that to say they did the exact same thing with the Witness. Not only did you humanize it, not only did you make its face not scary, not even scary, you didn't even make it creepy, it just looks stupid. So not only did you do all of that, but you also had it to where if I could choose, either I would have had it wear a mask, kind of in the vein of the pyramids, like Pyramid Head, if anything, like that would have been incredibly appropriate if they did that. It wouldn't have been like actual Pyramid Head and it wouldn't have been as big as his, but it would have worked. All things considering, it would have worked. But what I would have done is I would have gave it a face like they did, but it wouldn't have been a humanizing face. I would have done, you know the smokestack that they have on the head? I would have let that have been the face, where it had this ominous white smoke filled with unknown, untold souls floating out of it. That's what I would have done. That would have been infinitely better than what they did. Giving it the Jiren Jocko, and not Jacko, not Guilty Gear, Jocko. Galaxy Patrol Jocko and Jiren's child. That's the face it had. Oh, and then it has the smokestack. No. No.
Pyramid super
You
weapon
made it
is
worse.
no more.
Yeah, wow, good work.
That's kind of messed up.
You
There
can
we go.
bet there'll be another soon. Like you Vanguard folks say, stay vigilant, Guardian.
I like that he said that, even though failed that patrol hardcore because no one except that Titan wanted to help. But yeah, let me go ahead and do that real quick. Flynn, not Flynn, Finch. Finch is pretty cool. I genuinely do like him. Oh, and Ghost does say something interesting when we're talking about Finch. He's like, you know, because we're in Savathun's throne world, there's no telling if that's actually Savathun or not, considering the epic prank she did with Osiris. But yeah, let me just go into space real quick and show you what I'm talking about. And then I'll try to remember to change the name of my stream because it's incredibly misleading. So instead I'll say my thoughts on Witch Queen, since, you know, again, Galaxy Brain idea of not letting you be able to see the cutscenes again. So at first I wasn't going to do this, but for the sake of having something to talk about, I will. I like how they look. I like how thin they are. I don't know why in the back they are open like that. I think that's a really bad idea. Why not just have all of this come all the way up? That's kind of stupid. I kind of don't like it. But then there's also this. Why is it wool? First off, why would you choose wool and not leather when leather would be infinitely better for gripping a weapon than wool? Have you ever tried holding something really heavy or anything at all that has any kind of significant weight with a wool glove? Or, I say wool, let me be more specific, yarn. It looks like it's made of yarn. Have you ever tried holding something heavy with a yarn glove? Leather. Should have went with leather. But then on top of that, why is it segmented? Why is it segmented? Warlocks have gloves like this all the time. And most of them, if not all of them, don't have this. So why would you think this looks good? That's number two. And then number three, like I said, is the watch. You can barely see it down there, if that. But they don't put it up here. So now let me show you my other favorite glove, the one I originally had. And if you go to my past streams, you'll see why. It looks really good in first person. Third person, it's just okay. In third person, it's just okay. I don't like that. It's not too bad. Makes our arms look a little bigger. But that's not too big of a deal. But it's this right here. That right there is what I love about the gloves, because they look really good in first person. But alas. So, yeah, let me go over my remaining thoughts to make sure I got everything in order. Oh, right, the 2 truths, 1 lie, or 2 truths, 2 lies. I don't know this, but from what I heard from my own viewing, I think what it is that, I don't even remember them all, but I think the 2 truths were that the darkness, or the witness, or whatever, brought Mars back. I do believe that, because if it took it away, which it did, then common sense would say it brought it back. I sincerely doubt the Traveler did it, unless Savathun did it, which would in turn make it a lie, but I'm pretty sure the Witness did it. And then the other one was the Taken King will return, because the other 2 also seem unlikely, so that's the only other one that I think could be the truth. If that is true, that's quite an interesting revelation if Oryx is going to come back. But yeah, Savathun, the Traveler, the Hive Ghosts. Oh, let me go and tell you this too, because I don't know if I have recording of these, and I'm not going to do it now because there's no cutscene, which I'm really disappointed about, because I generally was going to stream it all. So the 2 rooms that nearly made me give up. The first one was against the Scorn, that was kind of like the Hangman with the flail in his room. Because again, the enemies are hyper aggressive, they're much stronger, all that good stuff. I almost gave up and almost went to go recruit some friends. But like I said, I told myself, hey, if I could get this far into the fight, not just this far into the story, if I can get this far into the fight by myself, then surely I can get farther. So I kept trying, and eventually I did it. So that was the first time. The second time was when I was fighting the Sniper, who was kind of like the marksman, I guess, by that standards. They were also really bad, because not only could they 2-shot me at any opportunity, like from full health, just 2 shots will kill me. So naturally, if I was already on low health, it'll most likely just end me right there anyway. But it was also hyper aggressive because of the legendary difficulty. So it was constantly running at me with a sniper rifle. So that was also borderline made me give up. But again, same thing. If I made it this far, I can do it. So I kept trying, and eventually I did it. And then from that moment onward, I'd never really hit any brick walls. Excuse me. I was eventually able to just power on through, and I won. So that's my experience. I'm really sorry. I really was going to stream this. I really was. But the fact that we can't even see the cutscenes anymore, it's like, what's the point? So I will. It's kind of a moot point now, because it's already on Twitter. And if I remember correctly, Twitter does not let you edit your tweets. So sorry this information is late, but I'll just leave this up for if you want to hear my thoughts on the expansion. Here you go. I do consider this to be a better expansion than Forsaken, because let's be honest, the highlight of Forsaken was the weapons and Cade's death. I'm not saying people were happy about Cade's death, but people can respect how powerful it was, even though, like I pointed out before, realistically Cade should not have died, because they made him be more of an idiot than he really is. So Cade should not have died. But yeah, so sorry, really sorry. But thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed what little I could provide, and I'll see you all around.